Yo.
Okay, thank you guys for coming today. We're gonna go over, the survey that you, took for me and just kind of talk about that, the school culture survey. We're gonna talk about a couple of questions there and then kind of collaborate on some other, questions on what's happening on our campus as far as how we recognize, employees and just promoting success and recognizing our students and are involved with our community. So there was a couple of questions that I think people kind of discussed that were interesting, and thank you guys for being honest. One of the ones was in reference to planning. The planning and organization time, a lot of the teachers and staff is used to plan as collective units rather than separate individuals. I think most people rated us high there, but no, the decision making. Which one were you concerned about? Or you said that kind of struck a nerve?
To be involved in the decision making of the campus as a whole. Like there's not.
The student behavior code is a result of collaboration and consensus amongst all staff.
Right.
And
we're pretty much just given here's the mandate, here's what you need to follow. There's not really a portion of that where we are asked opinions or asked for feedback. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how do we change that? I mean, you mentioned something earlier that we may need to incorporate.
Well,
again.
I think it has to be voluntarily given to the front via a suggestion box, possibly, where there's an anonymous location or box that teachers can put in feedback and or ideas.
During the school year,
Uh-huh.
instead of at the beginning of the year, because now it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
To probably implement something new when you could have asked us the prior school year for the next school year.
Mm-hmm.
So this may very well be a good time then to get it now, and then they can work over it with summer.
So something like when we get our surveys at the end of the year, we should also, as a campus, be able to make suggestions as far as continuous improvement, behavior, anything. We should be able to participate in that, even if you're not a part of staff development. Because, most people suggest that in order to be a part of that, you need to be a part of staff development. And staff development meets when?
Before school starts
During the
back.
summer.
Mhm.
And I missed that, but I'm gonna definitely try to be a part of that this year. But that is something, because I am gonna have to take a couple of things when I meet with our principal from these meetings, and that is one that stood out. We really need a suggestion box that is just pretty much anonymous, because people feel like if you put your name on stuff, you almost retaliated against, or you held back for positions or what have you. But that was the main question, is including teachers, and most people didn't feel like there was enough involvement or teachers were included in a lot of decisions. But the 5 questions that I sent you on, hopefully everybody got a chance to look at them. Anybody wanna pick one that they would like to talk about or answer?
I can talk on number 1. As far as how the campus acknowledges, recognizes, and celebrates those who implement strategies in support of the campus vision, I would say to me that it is not done very consistently. I do see the same people being mentioned for same things that they have been doing, which is either part of their job, and others are kind of like not in the loophole. If you do not do something that a principal or somebody sees that they want to talk about, then you're pretty much not really recognized. So it is, we do hear announcements or some people's achievements, and you don't hear about others. And I don't know if there's somewhere in the school that we can have to submit information about, okay, this is what, I think when a team or anybody does something, they do turn in information or the school is aware of it. And if we are going to recognize, then we need to recognize everybody, or acknowledge everybody.
And that's a good point that you brought up, because that was one of the suggestions I made as part of my internship this year, was to do like a celebration,
Mhm.
either board or in the weekly newsletter that comes out, that instructional digest, birthdays, accomplishments, whatever kind of celebrations. But I was told that sometimes people get left off and that could cause confusion. I was just like, well,
There's a spreadsheet.
we're human,
Right.
you know, we make mistakes if mistakes are to be made, but I don't think that's the reason for us not to do it, because somebody may get left off and then someone will get angry.
If someone
That
gets
happens.
off, include them the next time,
Include
and
them,
mention that
exactly.
from last time, you know.
Exactly.
But
So-
let it be known that, hey, you can submit your celebrations or things that you need to be included to so and so person by so and so day. So if it's left out, you know you did not turn in that information. But if the information is turned in, then it should be included. If you turn it in and it wasn't there, then that was somebody else's mistake, not yours. So,
I can add to that. There actually is a similar process to what you're describing,
right.
and there's supposed to be 2 people of contact on this campus that you can submit that information to. Now, whether or not the information is received, or they're just not posting some of the things that they get, with regard to like the social media pages to champion the students or to recognize the students, but there's also one where we're supposed to recognize our fellow co-workers
Right.
as well, and that's submitted to the front with
To an
to
administrator?
Mhm.
Dr. Marshall?
Dr. Marshall,
I submitted.
and or Kate.
Oh, you're right, because I did submit the one for a teacher from Big John.
Mhm.
I submitted to one of those 2 people. I'm guessing one is the instructional coach, about what's going on in your classroom,
Uh-huh.
how you do things. I submitted something and I never heard anything back.
Well, what about this for the JAG instructional digest? Is that what you're talking about? Recognize people?
I was
in
suggesting
this?
to put it in there, since that's a piece of communication that we
Right.
use, you know, we don't have to reinvent
Instead of the
wheel.
loudspeaker.
Yeah, I was just like, let's put it in here,
Mhm.
and we can even do 3 months at a time, you know,
Right.
birthdays,
Right.
celebrations,
Right.
babies, whatever.
So you
Graduation.
suggested this to the writer of this paper,
Mhm.
which is an administrator.
Mhm.
So who did you submit, submitted your paperwork to,
I
for the
just-
newspaper or for when they were asking for?
They're asking for things, the
That
instructional,
you're doing in your
that you're doing in your
class.
classroom.
Oh, that's right.
That's Lexus Dawn, right?
I submitted a video that my students made that was above and beyond anything I thought they could do or would do. And I showed her, and I thought maybe it would be sent out so other teachers could get other ideas.
Right, right.
Mhm.
You can put on the JC News.
Well, I can tell you from this, and I don't know if you guys saw my email, but if I'm in a classroom and I see that, then I make it a point to just send the email out myself. You know, for instance, when I went by Miss Ordonez's classroom, I snapped a couple of photos and then I sent it out for that reason that you mentioned, because sometimes things are submitted and they're either not, you know, broadcast or promoted or whatever else is going on.
Right.
So if I'm in the wrong for doing that, I haven't been told that, but that's why I just went ahead and put it out there myself, because it's important that people get recognized and their students for doing,
We're doing certain things.
you know.
Not just the same people, because we're all teaching when we're in class.
Exactly.
And just because you didn't so happen to come by my room
Right,
today,
that's
or
what I
last week, or this month,
Exactly.
it ain't my fault that you missed all the facts.
Right.
That's right. And it is a good thing to know that someone did make a suggestion about just simple things. I know, yes, you get that chocolate in your mailbox if it was your birthday or something. But sometimes we see that some other people's birthdays are celebrated around the school, and you wonder, hey, what's going on, you know?
Yeah,
So
they
that
have big
or
old
something.
birthday party.
Right. So I mean, you can do that as a person if you really want to, but as a campus, if we just have something general, like you said, listing it. At least we know, everybody knows it's so and so's
Right.
birthday. And if your friends did not put something together for you, you're not upset at anyone, because of course, but at least you know that you were recognized, it was
Right.
acknowledged that it was your
And there were
birthday.
2 avenues, the JAG instructional digest, and then one that I call love notes, which would be a separate
Right.
one that we would put in the bathrooms, in the teacher's lounge, and we can put one in each of the teachers' boxes. And it's strictly about teachers.
Right.
Oh,
Nothing
okay.
else, it's called love
Oh.
notes. Kudos, celebrations,
Mhm.
just everything that we do, or just to increase employee morale. That was my topic for it, was to increase employee morale, but, I mean,
Which actually falls under question number 4. It says, what processes are used in improving morale, which moves the campus towards the realization of the campus's vision? But, you know, and this was my question too, because we have things, we have, you know, missions, we have campus goals. You know, the vision is not really stressed, so I did go to the leadership to ask, what is, I mean, some of you were copied on the email, what is the actual vision? And this is what the principal submitted, the red and blue at the bottom, which came straight from the,
Campus
the
improvement
campus,
plan.
well, the SOP, the beginning,
SOP,
the,
okay.
the beginning of the year, which is posted on the website, so people can see this. It's posted along with the.
On our JHHS website?
It's posted on the JHHS website with, you know, the PowerPoints that were actually used. Okay, so the biggest thing though, and then, you know, after doing this and of course being in these classes, I mean, these are things that I've noticed. But when I have to actually write on it, speak on it, and start talking about it, it really makes you want to do something about it. Because if we can, you know, sit and discuss it, but if we don't put a plan of action in or make some type of suggestion, or if you're in those type of meetings with those people, so that they will know this is what's going on, this is how people feel, you know, we're just as, you know.
Yeah.
But you get to the point to where, I mean, because some of us we've been here a long time, and you see this, and it has become the culture of this campus. And you know, one of the challenges that I'm trying to deal with, or even just thinking about, how do you go about changing the culture when it's in place?
And I would add and say that I think, just being here 4 years, this is the kind of campus where I think you just have to step out and take initiative and just say, hey, this is what I want to do. You don't even make a suggestion. I think you just say, this is what I want to do. Can we do it? Yes or no?
And you speaking from experience.
Yes.
Because
Because otherwise, I think everybody is pretty much complacent with just doing the norm day in, day out.
And there are things that are being or have been put in place. For example, talking about improving morale, I'll talk about the Big John. But at the same time, when we implement things, we need to look at the advantage or the consequence, the pros and the cons of it. Because if you want to talk about Big John for me, that is something I would shut my microphone if I could. Because sometimes I feel like, okay, is that the only person you've seen doing so and so? And I'm being honest about
I mean,
this.
I know you. I'm smiling because
So the fact that you
several
have
of
not
us feel the
seen,
same way.
and yes, some people will do things that will catch on your radar, but how about you sit back and see, hey, have we acknowledged so and so? How about we try to acknowledge so and so that we have not acknowledged, you know? And I mean, it is nothing, you're not getting $1 million for your name being called out there, but when you make it look loop-sided or one-sided, like, okay, it is certain people, or you have to do something that Crystal has to see you doing.
It has lost its value
It does
to me.
lose value.
It has
Right.
lost its value. It's not
I agree.
important anymore because we see or we feel that those people who are getting recognized are either people who work closely to the office or those are people that you are, you know,
Or in the office a lot.
I mean, not even that.
Right.
I know Dr. Simon does her job
No,
every
no,
day.
no.
She does not need to organize a career fair to have to
Thank
be
you.
organized
Now,
for.
that's what I
She
had to
does
say
not
on
need
Mr.
that.
Patrick.
She does
Right.
not.
I had to
She
tell
does
Mr.
her
Patrick,
job
I
every
said I
day.
had to get 100 other outside folks up here in this school building for me to get
To
big
get
done.
recognized,
So
right.
nobody can come to my room
So that's
anyway.
what I'm saying.
oh, you got Big John.
Yes,
Yeah.
for that.
Oh.
That
For
day.
That
So
day.
it
That
looks
day.
like that's all you've done that we
Yeah.
have seen that is important.
Exactly.
And to me, it is so
Oh
irrelevant.
my goodness.
So
I didn't
irrelevant.
realize
Mr.
that.
Patrick got his because of
The,
Because she-
URL, what
Well,
was it?
because
BPA
she told them about that, but
student advisor.
otherwise he didn't.
yeah, that he.
And the kids
How about
gonna
you
be
look at these teachers and look at their scores? Your students have made 100 on their test last week. We're gonna give you a recognition. That's what I want to hear. That's what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
Promoting education, promoting success.
Right.
Not
You've not had a
fighting
referral in the
hallway.
past 6 weeks. How about we give you a recognition for that?
Right.
I'm going in my room, breaking up, fighting hallway. That's what we
But
supposed
see,
to
I
do.
feel like what you did too was like number
Like,
3.
please don't give me that type
It
of
was
recognition.
innovative thinking, it was risk taking, and you took a chance.
I did.
You took a chance and it worked.
Anyway.
Because I heard some of the negative things, but it was something different. That's why I keep saying, you, like you said, we're complacent, we're comfortable. It is a culture where we just don't say anything, we just go about and do what we want to do. Go ahead, Ms. Owens.
I don't know if this is really on here, but the subs, the teachers who get called in, you know, to sub people's classes, I think something should be done for them. Maybe a lunch, maybe a dinner, because we get these pictures of other people getting, you know, Starbucks, they're getting lunch, these other different departments, but then,
They're getting it for what?
For
I'm
having
missing your email.
decent scores, or when they went over to challenge to
And I go to
Right, and
meet
he
their
go to challenge all the
kids.
time.
And
Miss
I-
Arts
They
goes
Well,
got
to
I
recognized.
heard that one where the
Several
English
times.
department went, the whole department, so they were all
But she goes
recognized.
all the time.
I know, I've known
And he goes
that.
all the time.
And she checks on her kids, and I
Yeah.
responded to an email that says went to administration. Every kid that she's had out there, she checks on them, wherever they are, she checks
Yeah.
on them.
Yeah.
You think anybody?
no. And then that just makes other teachers just feel like.
So
well,
if we feel that way, how do our students feel, especially those in smaller organizations that are mostly, diverse? And that's one of the things we talked about is culture. Are we, culturally competent on this campus? Do we recognize our culture?
And I hate to say those students feel the same. That they're being
Yes,
left out.
they do. It has been brought to our attention several times. If we go into a national or a state, event, and you do pep rallies and stuff, but it should include all students.
Not
Because
just the
when we
kids.
ask to do something, well, is it gonna benefit the entire campus?
Okay,
So when you do something, is it covering
That was a
benefit?
3-minute monologue about those cheerleaders.
I'm like, what is it with the cheerleaders? Why everybody else get recognition? Doggone step team going to nationals. Has
Right.
won
Second
before.
time.
For the second time, have won before. I
Gone to
mean,
Florida, in the name of John Conn High School, and nobody mentions it.
no,
It's not even on the website, nowhere.
not even on, you can't even get on the bulletin out front. You
Oh,
gotta
but
fight
he
to
said
get
he
out
put
front.
it on Twitter. It was put on Twitter, the press. I said, I don't use
Who's on
Twitter.
Twitter? I'm not on Twitter. Put it when Mesquite ISD people, that's Mesquite ISD website. I see students from
Bring the punch around.
other schools, North Mesquite, these students are recognized because they want to represent the school here and here. And it sits on the entire website where all schools, all parents can see. Do they have to do something
Right.
special for that?
But you know what,
Gotta
there was
be the
one
right
year,
advisor.
it was one year where some parents came and met with him. And that got his attention. I mean, it did get him to do more and recognize and acknowledge. But if there is no community involvement, parent involvement,
I promise you, it put those goes a long way. When the child gets a pat on the back and they seeing their name out there and they know other people seeing their face and know they did something good, it goes a long way for those children. They remember that. They do.
It does.
on the,
And you all have to remember too, the type of leadership that we have, that trickles down. When we have he's quiet, he's very nice, but he's quiet. And, I guess he's just reserved. And I don't think he minds a lot of things. But I think it's kind of, you gotta pull it.
right, your leadership sets
Yeah.
the mold and the climate. He sets it. He sets the vibe whenever he comes in the room, when he walks in, he sets that mold. And if you have that type of mentality or attitude, how did you change that? With that, and you go talk to him, he's nice, like you say, he acknowledges you and takes care of you in that moment. But after, though, you go back to what you were used to, and it's, you recognize those who are,
Your friends.
And other teachers saying that, like the birthday party, we all have birthdays.
Yes.
what
We could
birthday
do quarterly, like every 3 months.
Yes.
Those birthdays, get pizza and wings and
Just take
balloons.
balloons or something.
Right.
That's
Right.
I just,
But I think people will participate. I mean, like doing a working lunch for being productive and eating, you could do that for birthdays. But, I mean, so.
And that's what our sunshine committee used to be about, in my old school. See, I took pictures this morning out of first period to show how many people are in our hallways at 10:09, 10:10.
Oh, the
I got two pictures this
party,
morning.
because you had observed another school.
Yeah, with 3 people in the hallway. Late, 3.
And how many was in those,
No, students,
how many,
not the whole school.
but how
Out
many,
children, they started throwing up signs for me. Posing in
but
the
how
picture.
many, if you had to guesstimate, how many?
Shit, at least upstairs it was at least 30, 30, 40 maybe. Then downstairs, maybe about 10, 15.
That's
On
too
this
many.
hall, on my hall, it's probably like 3 people.
That's too many.
Yeah.
you know how many
And somebody's
They start throwing,
clearing them,
yeah,
sending
but
them to
you don't
class.
come out your office.
Mhm.
And at that school where I was, every last principal, even to the head principal, had a spot where they stood.
Right.
2 minutes before the bell rung, they were in their spots. All day,
See,
every
there is
period.
no follow through here. They plan all of that, but they don't follow through. It's been so many incidents out there that end
You
where
gotta
I'm
stop
at.
standing up here. You need to come all the way.
In between.
I mean, we have an
You better
S,
not show this video, nobody.
It's just on me.
they have an SRO upstairs in the back of the building. Well,
But is he in this?
wait, his office is upstairs
Right.
in the back of the building.
In your old
His
office.
location is down here in the front.
That's his post.
The majority of the
his duty, or where
time.
he's
I don't know where
assigned?
he, I don't know, or if he has one, but
But
when
that's
he's
where he
seen, that's
actually-
where he is,
okay.
yes.
And I don't know, I mean, most of these things I know you're doing for your classwork, but you walk through here and then people will give recommendations about certain things that just makes you feel like someone is just listening. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, the principal needs to acknowledge people's emails when he receives them. At least give a response, even if it's a yes or a no. It doesn't matter what it is that you are being asked. I'm sorry, I can't do it, yes, I will. At least something. But receiving an email and you do not even get a response, to me that feels ignored, that is not really that important. This is not something I even want to waste my second to type on.
He checked that one this morning though. I don't know if it was because it said campus vision, goals and things.
So,
He
it's
responded.
not,
Well, you know you did a survey too.
I mean, it doesn't matter. If someone took the time to write something to you, it's good morning, at least give them a good morning back.
I don't know, it just opens your eyes to a lot. And it either puts you in a position to you want to be a part of doing something about it, or you want to give your resignation and move to the next level. I mean, we've seen people do that all the time. You lose good teachers because of bad leaders. You do. I mean, I have a report that I'm gonna type up. I'm gonna give it to him from my observation and what I've learned, and I'm gonna be honest with him.
I think the lack of, well, after reading several different articles about the top 5 or 6 reasons why good teachers leave the profession is, and it comes up every time, in the top 3 at least, is support. Support from the administration.
That is,
And
you're
when
right.
and when it is really felt as a lacking,
I forgot she was on.
people will leave quickly.
It's a recording in process. I didn't want to.
Well, that's okay, come join, I still have time on it, but you were one of the ones who responded, so please join us in the session.
Well, thank you. I can always take a few minutes. I have a speaker. I love to-
You have a speaker in your class?
Yeah, I have the Gladney Center. Gladney Center's here. Adoption.
Oh, well, thank you for coming, did you get to look at the questions?
I didn't. I did not because I don't have access to my computer. Because
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. I would like to get your answer on at least one question while you're here. I'll let you get the question. We kind of talked about that when you were out there.
yeah.
Just morale on the campus. What can we do? Do you feel like we're moving towards our campus vision?
Which is what?
It's building successful relationships, make an impact, always expect to be the best, and value everyone. And it's just, the recording is just on me. You're just in the background. It's just, I'm the person.
Oh no. I'm just thinking before I
Okay.
speak.
Don't be afraid, be honest.
I know I will. I think we have moments of that. You know, I think sometimes we move towards that, and then we kind of, it's ebb and flow. Sometimes I feel like we move towards it, and then we kind of move away, and then we kind of move towards and move away. So, but we're not there, that's for sure. We're not there.
Good. So-
What, if you don't mind me
Go ahead.
asking, okay, do you have an example or a thought in mind of when we are moving toward it? Is there any one thing that you can?
Well, I feel like at the beginning of a year, which is easy, it's something new. At the beginning of a year, we have good momentum, and I feel like we're kind of moving that direction. But then I feel like then it just starts to decline. You know, like the morale begins to slough off, and we say we want, you know, to have some of these things, but then the actions later on maybe don't follow through or speak as loudly, you know, to this. I feel like we celebrate it. I mean, and part of this is not even just the school; it's education. We say we value all these things, but then when you get evaluated, nobody says anything about the times at the hours you spend having conversations with kids, really building relationships. That stuff's not valued. You're not scored on that. You're not given props for that. And
That's a good point.
and unfortunately, I feel like too that even sometimes then administration doesn't value that either. That there's not any kind of positive feedback in that capacity. Especially not teaching a core class, you don't have as much room to get recognized because you're not having
That's
test
good.
scores.
That's
Exactly.
good.
And that's what we were talking about, and Miss Mallory is another one, that when she comes out there, she talks to her students, and they look forward to her coming. She has built a relationship, but who's gonna know that if I don't send an email to say, thank you so much for coming and copying those people? Not to say that you should get Big John or anything, it just makes a difference because I see how different that kid is. The young lady you spoke with, she's been so different. She helped set this up. You know, she was very upset and sad that day. The girl has been totally different since you talked to her.
That's good.
So you're right. What are we doing? Because when they leave school, they have to live life, and they're gonna have to deal with all these emotions and stuff. Yes, we're gonna take care of the content part, but who's taking care of the social, the living, the life? You know, this can really happen to you. Whether you got a job or not, and you making all this money, life still happens.
Well, why do we have only one counselor on staff, like for multiple schools?
One
Why do we have
crisis
one
counselor.
man meter crisis
Oh,
counselor?
Right.
crisis counselor.
Why is that?
Right.
You know, because sadly, whether what they want or don't want, I mean, counselor positions, I had an opportunity years ago to move over to be a counselor here. But I knew I wouldn't be spending time building relationships with kids. I'd be doing schedules. And I didn't want to do schedules. I wanted to be with kids and build relationships. And I feel like because I'm, you know, that's the benefit of teaching in a classroom. I get to build relationships with them, and then they'll come and talk to me. But
Right.
I don't think that we have
But you-
enough built in, no, to our.
But you're not the first one that said that. Even some of the counselors say they feel like they're academic advisors.
Yeah, I agree.
Versus Van Meter being crisis
That's
because
right.
she doesn't have anything to do with it. You're right.
She's a one lady on a campus of over 2,000 children.
Right.
I mean,
and she's split between the third largest and the second largest high school.
yes, yeah. You know what else we don't do? Have you noticed? I noticed this. Apple Core, that whole Apple Core award
Yeah.
that teachers get. Other schools, you're nominated by your peers.
That's right.
We never have Apple Core people. We never have people nominated.
How do you know what? That's because there are 3 things I'm going to send to him that I got out of this that I really want him to look at and to consider. I am, and I'm going to copy the people who participate. So as I just said, you need to be ready to support your idea. You don't have to say who said it, but this Apple Core, the crisis counselor, and the love notes, kudos to teachers, specifically recognizing teachers.
Especially non-subject area.
Non-core.
Non-core electives.
And if it's something else, I would like to take back 5 things to send to him and his staff, that this is what I got from this. I'm enjoying doing this. I like this. But we have some things we need to work on in getting towards this vision and this, the mission, the campus mission statement. Lifelong learners acquire attitudes, values, and ethics. The mission, the campus statement doesn't have anything to do with their education, because they're going to get that. Some of them. But, you know, then you have your campus focus, you have a theme, which is that's what to bring your A game. You know, but he needs to know when people put out a survey, I don't just want this to be swept under. I want this to be a lasting impression, because I'm not doing this for my health.
Right. Right, right.
I mean, I'm learning too. I have a lot to learn, but I'm like you. I know when you have a relationship with kids, it makes a difference when they have someone they can come to.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have enough of that. They can't go to their counselor center. Even talking to our college readiness person, they will come to her a lot of times before they go to the
Mhm.
academic advisor / counselor.
Yeah, then I'll even offer, so let me walk you down to the counselor. I don't wanna go down there, I don't wanna talk to them.
Yeah.
They don't know who they are, and they don't